this deer would be dead if we had wind. I mean, I can slip right through this. If it was windy, I could crawl and not even worry about it. But it's so calm, they're going to hear the grass, and I got to be real careful. I may even set up right here by this tree and just hope that the doe, when she comes out, works out the pasture, because they do that out here. You wouldn't think so, but they just do. They go random places. So I got to make some decisions here, but I'm going to try to slip up here and see how good of a look I can get.
it's November 22nd today, and got to get a little update on that stock. It was one of those deals where it was so close to coming together. It was probably one of the coolest hunts I've ever been on. You know, more of a tree stand guy, but you don't get that opportunity very often, and just got to capitalize on it. You know, I got in there on an unstockable day. That wind was so calm, and it worked out perfect getting in there as close as I did. I got to 55 yards actually is where the shot was, and it just you know, the only thing I can come up with, and I can watch it back on the GoPro. My main camera was set up behind me, but the deer already worked past it. I had no option, so you don't really get to see the shot. But I ended up got my distance just perfect because I was able to range him while he was working a scrape once he got up out of his bed, and ranged him, had the perfect height. Just thought it was money in the air, and it just kind of shattered my hopes of putting together a phenomenal stock. But anyway, watched him chase bucks off that whole night. He ran out, and I screwed up. Actually had one of the does coming back through, and I think they all wanted to come back into that draw. They didn't really know what happened. One of the does pegged me while I was trying to watch him, make sure. So what I want to do here today, I got a perfect wind to get back in the stand. Just that he's still on that pattern of chasing those last does, so hopefully we'll get in here on him and get another chance. But watched him breed a doe right at sundown too. That was neat. Don't get to see that very often. And like I said, the camera was back in one of those ditches, so all I had was a GoPro. Today's the 4th of July, Independence Day. Feels good to get out and trying to get the last of the cameras set up. I try to get them set up by this time of year. Typically it's kind of my target date, but just kind of hate to bring it to you like this on finishing up that hunt. There's a lot of other ways I'd like to bring it to you besides just talking and explaining it, but yeah, I really I couldn't ask for any more. You know, it was one of those stories that just didn't seem to want to end, and I was fortunate for that, you know, and I got some opportunities, and it was just a fun season. And you know, I said earlier that a lot of things happen and you don't quite understand it at the time, but this is a great example of that. And so basically at the end of the year, you know, hunted hard, never saw another sighting of him, never heard of him getting shot. There was a neighbor I knew that did some crossbow hunting during bow season, and I heard that he tagged out with a rifle on the second day of season. He's a little ways off, but in the same neighborhood vicinity, but I heard he's always kind of picky and holds out, so that kind of had me on the back of my mind thinking along those lines. So fast forward to the spring, I basically kind of sought out basically the name of that guy, and I ended up finding out, I won't say his last name, but his name was Virgil, which is a pretty rare name. But anyway, I donated a hunt to the Wild Turkey Federation, and found out the winner of that hunt was a guy by the name of Virgil, older guy. And so I thought, man, in this general area, a hunter named Virgil, you know, there's a pretty good chance that's him. So carried on, went to that turkey, and I thought, man, maybe I'll just get to know him a little bit and then I'll bring it up slowly. But ended up I did, and this guy actually said he didn't deer hunt, but he knew another Virgil he shot trap with that did shoot a really big deer, I guess. So basically spring rolled into summer, and ended up finding out that I lost permission on that piece, so that was a bit of a bummer, but I still just needed that closure on that deer, you know, just all those encounters, and just wanted to know what happened to him. And ended up deciding to give Virgil a phone call. I got his number there and called him up, and you know, I tried to present it the best way I could, just trying to congratulate him on a great deer, and tried to explain it a little bit about what happened and all the encounters that I had, and you know, how special of a deer it was. And I just was really wanting to kind of get that across to him and just kind of see. And I tried to describe the frame of the deer and the makeup, and I think he was just a little bit kind of surprised by, I guess, my call. And he, I think, kind of thought I was trying to get in on a spot where he was hunting, and he was telling me some stories about some guys that took over his permission. And so I just said, no, you know, Virgil, that's definitely not why I'm trying to call. And he actually even questioned the permission I had, which it is a tough piece to get permission on. But besides the point, I ended up thanking him for his time and ended the phone call, and basically I almost left it at that. I just figured my closure's not really any better, but man, it's weird how, the Lord works in mysterious ways. I just carried on into to the fall. We got through the summer. I started hunting. Actually shot a nice deer that year. Unbeknownst to me, the story was not over. Just happened to be one early winter. I think it was December, January, roughly. Was at the firehouse and got just a random call. Just typical day. Run the medical and go up the street and walking up to the house, and on the door, on the side of the door, was one of those welcome signs, and it was home of Virgil and such, and had a portrait of a deer on that. So, oh, no way. And as I walk in the door, we're in EMS mode, but I glance to the right as soon as I walk in, and there he is in all his glory, just right there on the wall. And I, was just kind of taken back. I ended up the whole call was kind of a blur. I ended up going back, and Virgil and his family were, super nice people, and we were as compassionate as we could be, trying to take care of him. And it was obvious he was battling cancer, and by the clock, I guess of the dates of when he probably found out, I thought back to that, and very well could have been that the day that I called him might not have been too much after he got that bad news. And right then it just hit me like a ton of bricks. My dad, I lost him in 12, and so that area, I can remember I shot a deer in that same area, and it meant a lot to me. To think of that as being possibly his last deer, I couldn't have thought of a better way for that story to end, to be honest with you. And I feel great to this day just knowing that. And just a special hunt, special deer, and wish it would have ended up a little bit different for everybody. But it's one of those, like I said, you learn a lot about yourself as a hunter and as a person, and there's a lot more to life than just that. And it just goes to show you that you get a lot of signs, in life, and I feel like my dad had a big part in that one, and might have been a good lesson to learn, And anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. It was kind of a long, drawn-out hunt, but I enjoyed bringing it to you and going back and reflecting, as tough as that is and as much as it stings. But anyway, there's always another deer, another adventure. Hopefully you guys get on your own and start your own. Well, once again, I don't feel like I'm going to be able to give this story the ending it deserves, and I just don't want to leave out the details. One thing I did fail to mention, I was thinking about on the drive home from the farm, is our fire department. It's got 275 guys, 12 stations, 3 different shifts. What are the chances, really, that I even run that call to get that closure? It tells me it's more than just chance. But like I said, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and that was just one of those stories that, to me, that was the best reason I could have ever gotten, and the best closure. I had just a huge weight lifted off my shoulders with that. But I did follow up probably a week after with Virgil and his family, and they were super nice, and they actually were asking how they could get a hold of the department heads, and they wanted to write a letter of gratitude for the service and care that we took. But really it was nothing. It was just really, we didn't do anything special for them. I just felt for them in their time. It was quite the battle, you could tell. And unfortunately, I found out later, it was about a year probably, or later that summer actually, was when I found that Virgil had lost his fight. But just to know that was the final hunt probably for him just means a lot to me. And anyway, I just wanted to get that extra little bit out there just to let you know. And I called after I called him, there that week following. I offered some pictures and some video, and he's like, I really appreciate that, but that's okay. I think I'm okay with what I had. And of course, then my wife, she thought I was a little bit crazy, but I had a bunch of copies of the photos and a little bit of the footage on the DVD, and so I just decided later to stick it in the mailbox. Whether they watched it or not, is unknown, but I just felt like it was the right thing to do. And it obviously was a special deer to me, but the story and everything, the way it came together, was just priceless. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that.